Hi, this is Sweet Life and I'm Natasha, back with a recipe for making a spicy and crunchy chicken sandwich. I recently decided to try my hand at making a spicy chicken sandwich. I like them. I generally don't really eat fried foods, but I thought that I could probably put together a recipe that would fit my criteria, meaning that the exterior of the chicken situation would be crunchy and crispy, it would have a good amount of flavor, be spicy, and not overly oily. So one Saturday I decided to just toy around with this recipe. I had 3 chicken thighs and needed to make something for the weekend, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to try putting something together. I don't really like fried foods because the grease can sometimes upset my stomach, and also because I don't like soggy batters or breading. I decided to also try my hand at using an air fryer, as I felt that between that and having the exterior of the meat be crunchy, it would help me get around my, dislike of soggy batter, right? And I could avoid having the chicken be oily. Also, keeping in mind that where possible, I would try to cut down on carbs. Not that it would be super strict or anything like that, but when and where possible, something to keep in mind. I knew that I would put together a kind of coating system, right? Where usually you dip chicken into flour to help the egg mixture adhere, which then helps the exterior coating adhere. But I decided to switch out regular flour for a mixture of almond and coconut flour because they have a somewhat different flavor than regular flour, and they're also good low-carb alternatives. Still not the healthiest thing, but I figure a little healthier. Another thing was the exterior crunch. You could use flour for the exterior or something along the lines of panko, breadcrumbs, or even regular breadcrumbs. I've even seen people use quinoa to coat the exterior of things that they're going to fry to give that crunch and also to lower carbs. But, I didn't want to go that far, But I decided that I would try something a little bit different, sort of non-traditional exterior coating. I remember that some time back I was watching some sort of competitive cooking show, and one of the contestants used cornflakes as their breading. I saw some laying around the house and decided that it might be a good idea to make some use of them. So to start with, I just crunched up some cornflakes. I didn't want it to be too smooth or dusty, for lack of a better term. So instead of putting it into the food processor where it would become like the consistency of flour, I decided to just crush it by hand. I didn't want it to be overly uniform. I wanted it to have a mix of different textures and sizes and whatnot. And I figured with the cornflakes, you'd get a good bit of crunchy texture. And keeping it rough would be interesting. So the first step is dredging the chicken in flour. As I mentioned, instead of using regular flour, I'm using a mixture of coconut flour and almond flour. And really just taking the time to mix them together loosely. And I want to make sure that I season this batter breading situation every step of the way. So for the flour mixture, let's call it, I added some seasoning salt, black pepper, and paprika. Just putting it into a bowl, mixing it all together, making sure that it's all well blended. The seasoning is incorporated throughout so you get flavor in every bite. We use this first because we want the other coatings to adhere to the chicken, right? And as I said, we want flavor every step of the way. So instead of just using plain eggs, to which I've added a little bit of milk, in this case almond milk, but you can use regular milk, I want to add some spice in the form of hot sauce. In addition to that, to kick it up a little bit, I purchased a mango habanero sauce by Buffalo Wild Wings, to which I'm just going to add a little tip. I had this Buffalo Wild Wings at the restaurant on actual wings, and it was pretty good. But I bought it from the store, and to me, it the flavor was different, and it was far more spicy than I remember it being. And so I use it, but just in very small amounts. I've had this probably now for well over a year, and it's still more than half full. So I just add it in to when I'm making certain things and I want to add a little kick of pepper, but with a little bit of flavor. And so I'm just putting that into the egg mixture as well. Here I feel you don't really get much mango flavor and the heat is rather intense, but you just scale it back a little bit to account for that. I had my chicken thighs, which I've seasoned very plainly. just a little bit of seasoning salt, a bit of black pepper, paprika, and then some of my blended seasoning, which is really just like a bunch of aromatics blended together. But I've taken care to drain off the liquid, and while I was putting together the flour and the other items and whatnot, I just let it sit for a little bit to let the surface dry out a bit. And I think it's worth pointing out here that the reason I'm using chicken thighs is that I prefer them to chicken breasts. I know a lot of times when you buy a chicken sandwich or items along those lines, they're more likely to be using a chicken breast. You certainly can if you prefer chicken breast to chicken thighs, but I like the thighs more. I think they have more flavor. I like the texture. I leave the bone in because I think, number one, cooking things on the bone gives it more flavor. And it's easy enough to remove the bone once the chicken's finished cooking. And then also because I didn't feel like taking the time to take out the chicken bone while the chicken was raw. Like, it's a whole process. So I just left it in. And so now the process for preparing our chicken is to move through the steps of breading and dredging it and whatnot. So the first step is to take the chicken thigh, shake off the moisture, right? Make sure it doesn't get everywhere. You want to take the chicken thigh and dredge it in the flour. Take care to coat everywhere. You want to make sure you get it into all of the little cracks and crevices. Coat the entire thing. The next step is to take the now dredged chicken thigh and dip it into the egg mixture, taking care to try not to bread your hand, right? So you might want to try using both hands, like one hand at each step. So use one hand for the flour mixture, use another for the egg, and then the same one from the flour mixture, use that for the cornflakes, so you don't end up with like this thick batter in your fingers. Once you've got your chicken thighs nicely coated, you could certainly go ahead and fry it, just standard frying at this point, but I'm actually going to use the air fryer. I figure it's healthier than frying in oil because you generally use little to no oil. I put maybe a teaspoon, and probably not even that, of canola oil into the bottom of the air fryer basket, and that was it. I didn't refill it when I made when I put in other pieces or anything like that. And yet still it helped the chicken thighs be really crisp, but not greasy. So with my air fryer, I set it to about 375, 380, and the timer at 20 minutes. But what I did was I turned it on just a few minutes before I was ready to put the chicken in and just let it preheat a little bit so it was nice and hot and ready to go. Now, bear in mind that it really didn't take a long time for the air fryer to come up to temperature. I just thought that it would be a good idea to go ahead and have it hot and ready to go when I put the chicken in, rather than putting the chicken in and then having it come up to temperature. I felt like I would have a better idea of how long it would take to cook. And so while I set it to a 20-minute timer, I figured that I would let it go about halfway, and at the 10-minute mark, I would pull out the basket and just flip the chicken over. Now, I don't know how it works with other air fryers, as this is the only one that I've used, and it was my first time using it. But when I opened the basket, the timer paused. And so I was able to flip the chicken over without worrying about, minutes having ticked by. Just be careful that while you're flipping it, I use tongs because obviously the chicken's hot and so is the basket. I use tongs to flip it over, but I took care to try not to knock off any of the coating. So a lot of times when you get like a spicy chicken sandwich from a restaurant or wherever, it'll have some kind of mayo condiment. I'm not the biggest fan of mayo, so I put together a condiment, but I use blue cheese instead, blue cheese dressing. Now, if you'd like, you can certainly switch out the blue cheese for mayo. You could even use plain Greek yogurt, but I figured, blue cheese goes well with wings, and it should work here. And honestly, if you wanted to, you could probably even use ranch dressing or whatever other creamy type condiment you want. I would just say don't use anything that's too runny because some of the other flavorings are liquids and we don't want this to be like the consistency of water where it just spills out. And basically the sauce we're putting together, the condiment we're putting together is blue cheese dressing, apple cider vinegar, hot sauce, and a little bit of chili powder. I was considering a little bit of cayenne, but I gave it a taste and I thought that it was fine. But I did go back and add just a little bit of black pepper and a splash more of hot sauce. And with that, I thought the flavor was perfect. Certainly your mileage might vary. You can leave out the hot sauce. You can You can leave out the hot sauce. You can leave out the chili pepper. You can add in the cayenne, bump up the flavors, tone things down. It's really up to you. This is really just a basic guideline. Now, this gave me like 3 servings. The first time when I made the sandwich, I sprinkled over a little bit of hot sauce and dusted it with some cayenne. I felt that ended up being a little bit too spicy, so I left it out the other 2 times when I had the chicken. When I took the chicken thighs out of the air fryer, I was looking at them and they were actually quite big in comparison to my buns. If you have like big rolls or buns or whatever like that, and then depending on the size of your chicken thighs, you might be fine. Or if you use chicken breast, you might be fine, just keeping it whole. But I split the chicken thigh in 2 to make 2 smaller size sandwiches so the meat would fit comfortably on the bun. And again, because I don't like wet bread and things like this, I just pop the buns into the toaster oven, really just to warm them up, get a light toast on them. And on top of that, I then put my blue cheese spicy sauce business, followed by some sweet and spicy pickles, though you could use whatever kind of pickles you like. Next, I placed the chicken thigh and then drizzled over just a little bit of hot sauce. I like the Louisiana brand hot sauce, but you can use whatever is your preferred brand. And I also had some cherry peppers. And then with that, I just drizzled over more of like that blue cheese condiment that I put together. So what we're doing here is just adding layers upon layers of flavor. I made a simple slaw. You could certainly use regular coleslaw, mixed up with mayonnaise. Mine, I like vinegar-based slaw, so I put it together, nothing fancy. I just cooked it down a little bit so it's not quite so crunchy. And then just topped the chicken with that. So here in the sandwich, you've got like quite a few flavors going on, right? You've got the creaminess of the blue cheese condiment. You've got the crunchy, savory, spicy flavor from the chicken. In addition to that, I drizzled over a little bit of hot sauce, which added even more spice. You've got the crunch of the pickles. And the pickles have like, vinegary flavor. They've got a little bit of sweet to them, a little bit of heat and savory. Then you have these cherry peppers. They're nice, they're soft, they're sweet. And the one that I got, it has like a slight delay in the heat. And then it's like, you've got your bun. Not that that really adds a lot of flavor. That just kind of holds everything together. But you could switch out and use other types of buns that might add in more flavor, that might have a little bit more crunch or toasty. And this was actually quite filling. I did, like I said, put a little bit of the slaw on the sandwich, but then I also had a little bit on the side. And with that, it was a very filling meal, but not like super heavy or anything like that. Like I ate it, I felt satisfied, but I didn't feel like stuffed. And I liked the batter that I put together because it wasn't soggy. It didn't slip off with the first bite. It held on to the chicken really well. And, I was being kind of lazy when I reheated it on the following days to eat it. But you can actually put it into the toaster oven or even back into the air fryer to warm it back up so it'll be nice and crispy. But I didn't want to do all of that. So I just popped it into the microwave. And even with that, and even like fresh out the fridge, I popped in like a little piece of the breading into my mouth. And it wasn't like super soggy or anything like that, even several days later. So this is my recipe that I've put together. I hope you enjoy it. You can look at this, as I do with most of my other recipes, as a guideline for, putting together your own sandwich. Certainly make your own adjustments, tailor it to your own preferences and personal taste, but I hope that if you make it, that you enjoy it. And let me know what you think.
Thanks for tuning in. To ensure you don't miss any episodes, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and check out my Cooking at Home playlist. Go ahead and click that thumbs up button if you like what you saw, and go ahead and share it on social media.